the Mistress Isabel delusion.
Drag delusion vaccine, yes.
I think I'd give it to Plain Jane and Nifia. Plain Jane in particular. That girl is... That's probably...
That's an answer in itself. Great. Hello, I'm Joey Nolfi with Entertainment Weekly, here today with the cast of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 16, and there's no one who exemplifies the spirit of a truly sweet 16 better than the queen I am sitting with today. Her name might kindle warm thoughts of your favorite candy treat, but the level of talent she serves on stage is a full course meal of drag excellence every time. Please welcome the lovely Hershii LiqCour-Jeté.
That was the best entrance I've ever had in my life. Thank you.
That means a lot. I always that I'm doing my job well. You're clearly doing your job well. I mean, look at this. Isn't that color amazing on her?
This is just to go to bed.
Just to. Oh, we're putting you to sleep today. We're just let's do 15 minutes of an ASMR sleep video. Yes, lovely. But I just have a sense, something is telling me that the fans are gonna have so much fun with you. Like, it's just, and going through and looking at all of the stuff that you have done in the past, like, I'm just like, fans are gonna eat this one up for sure.
Thank you.
You are just giving it at all times. Now, I learned that your first experience in drag was in St. Louis, correct?
Yes.
So, and that's where you're from?
Yes, St. Louis, Missouri.
And you were inspired by Tyler Perry's Medea as your first taste of drag culture?
I tell everybody the very first drag queen I ever saw was Tyler Perry. And I used to put on very terrible wigs and like set up my mama camera, and I used to try to write plays and like bully the kids in my neighborhood to like jump on camera with me, and then we would make movies all day. I
still have the children?
Tapes. Sure, we were all children. Oh my God, we were all children. But I would set up the little camera and we would do movies and stuff about nothing all day. Yeah.
So you built up a YouTube following early in your career, correct?
Yes.
There's nothing that I love more than like an early 2000s like YouTuber vibe. It is so great. So what was like the typical drag aesthetic back then in those videos, and what kind of YouTube clips were you doing?
It was drag before I knew I was a drag queen. This was like YouTube when 1,000 followers are like a lot. Like, oh, 1,000 people are watching me. It really wasn't a drag aesthetic. I was just more so like putting on a wig and making parodies all day and all night for no reason. My parents were very concerned about me. I literally would wake up in the morning, I would go to Party City, I would buy 3 or 4 ratty wigs, I would go downstairs and I wouldn't come back up until the video was finished and posted.
Hours,
literally all day. My mom was like, you sure you don't wanna like
go
outside, maybe eat? Take a shower, you know.
So what were some of the videos that you would do? Like, what's like the most popular video you did back then?
Jesus. I can't say the name of the video. It's inappropriate for television, but I'm most famous for rapping this song about this man who needs to pay me. He owes me money because we have a child together and he needs to pay me. So I'm most famous for that song in particular. I will say Itty Bitty. If you look up Itty Bitty and put Hershii LiqCour, then I'm pretty sure it'll pop up.
Okay, yes, you all have homework to do now. Yes, go look at this video, but not the children. Apparently it's inappropriate.
No, I'm an adult.
You said in the past you were also raised in a religious household, which, I mean, I made things, I'm assuming, a little bit harder for you. And then you had a difficult experience at a St. Louis competition that led to some tears. And you said that you quit drag before moving to Atlanta, where Hershii was eventually born. So can you tell me about that experience at that first St. Louis show?
Yes, so being that I knew nothing about drag at the time, I just knew I was throwing on my wig and I was making people laugh. So I thought that's all I needed. There was a club that we had at the time called Novax in St. Louis, and they were holding an open drag competition. And all my friends were always telling me, oh girl, you're gonna be a drag queen one day. So I was like, oh, I'll do that real quick. What's the prize? $500, come with a dress, do a good talent, be cute, I can do that.
Those 3 things, it's simple.
So I stole my sister's prom dress and went to the thrift shop and got some shoes that didn't match it. It was like, the prom dress was like this really powder blue, and I got like the deepest black shoe that I can find, and then invited like 30 people.
To watch the show.
To watch it. Come on down. This is before like cell phones were like cell phones the way cell phones are cell phones now. Invited all these people. I got me a dollar store palette of eyeshadow. Just that. No foundation, no lashes, no contacts, no, just this dress, my eyeshadow, and I thought that was all I needed. I go into the room and it's all these queens and there's assistants, there's wigs falling off, the powder all over the place. And I just like, me and my little like dress in this eyeshadow palette. So I like run to the bathroom and I start crying because like I feel stuck. I invited 30 people now. I can't call all 30 of these people to tell them, no, you know what, never mind. So I'm like, do I leave and just let them show up? So I'm just like in the bathroom like, and one of the queens came in behind me because she saw me and she walks into the room and she looks me up and down and goes, oh, honey, what's wrong? And I'm like, I just got this dress and this eyeshadow palette and all of you guys are so beautiful and I don't know. And she said, just stop. Come on. So she walks me back into the room and literally like each queen in the competition, like without even being asked, handed me something to wear. One of them did my makeup, somebody gave me some earrings, somebody gave me a dress. Cute. Like, my introduction to drag is like, it was full of love and they like supported me all the way through it, even the ones that I beat.
The ones that you beat. That's a beautiful story. It starts like, you know, it's like you get nervous even just hearing that story at the beginning, but then the way it ends, it's so sweet. I love that like everybody came together to help the little baby queen.
The little baby queen didn't know what she was doing. Now after that, I did say, no, this is lashes, wig, like all that. This is too. I'm not doing none of this again. This is no.
But then the journey to Atlanta is when Hershii was born. A lot of legendary queens come from Atlanta. So when you were there, did you have any direct experience with the Ru girls in that city?
No, it was the same story all over again. I got a raggedy dress for open competition.
A $2 palette.
A bad wig. No, $3. It was $3. It was on sale. And I went and it just felt different that time. Like I went in the same situation, like a queen saw me and was like, ooh girl, you look bad, but we'll see what you can do. Her name was Monica Van Pelt. She's not with us anymore, but she said, oh girl, we'll put you on stage and we'll see what you can do. And she like enjoyed the performance and said, you need to, I don't know what this is, but you need to figure this out because the performance part, you got that, but you look ugly, honey. You look awful. So we're gonna have to fix that. But I'm grateful for that type of advice that they gave me. Atlanta was very like hard on me. It made me look at myself very differently, and I cannot think of a weekend I haven't been off stage since that day.
Yeah. You went through your formative drag years in Atlanta, and then you moved to Los Angeles. You said in an interview with Voyage LA that you got, and I'm gonna quote, on people's bad side because I was not willing to just sit aside and be treated any old type of way due to pay inequity and racism on the circuit in Los Angeles.
Yes.
So I'm just curious, I think it's an important topic to talk about in the drag community today. Like, what did you mean by that? And what was your early experience in the drag scene in LA that prompted you to say that?
When I started drag, I was getting paid and it was little stuff like $25 a year. Here, we'll give you a drink ticket here and there, but we were getting compensated for our work. And when I moved out to LA, I was running into a lot of situations where they wanted you to come to the club and they wanted you to perform, asking me, but they didn't want to pay me. They had attitudes with me for even suggesting that I was worth getting paid. Yeah. And that became a conversation. It's still a conversation to this day. Like, how dare you be new and ask to be compensated for your work. But they want your drag to be on 10, they want your looks to be on 10, they want your wigs to be nice, they want you to have jewelry, nice mixes, but they don't want to give you money for it. And that just simply did not make sense to me. And I got on a lot of, I would say, older queens' bad side because I had the nerves to say, no, girl, this don't make sense.
So it was like the older generations that were...
I would say it was the generation prior to mine of drag queens who were used to, it probably did work that way, when they were younger. And that's not shade. But when they were younger, they probably did have to work a different way, but we're making way more money now and it's way more opportunities. It's a whole, like, especially in LA, there's so many bars that are willing to, like, host shows and give us money for shows. There's budgets out there for us. So I just don't think it makes sense anymore to think that we're supposed to accept crumbs because we're just getting started and we're not where you think I'm supposed to be. Because there's a lot of queens that started way ahead of me that I'm looking at like, girl, what are you doing?
Yeah. And I mean that, you always hear people talking more and more now about like there needing to be some sort of like drag union specifically for things like that. And I mean, that's a whole separate conversation, but like I do think hearing your story like that, it's always important to talk about. Then eventually you were brought into Kornbread's drag family, correct?
So Kornbread drugged me into our mother's drag family.
Yes, House of Jeté.
House of Jeté. Our drag mother name is Jeté.
Yeah.
So we say Calypso's the mother, but Kornbread's the business. So
I like that. I like that.
Calypso is the face. She started all of us, but Kornbread, we can't have drag children without Kornbread say so first. We can't try a new makeup style without Kornbread say so first. What show are you doing over there? Are they going to embarrass me? I don't like the nails. I don't like that. Try this one over here. Yeah, Kornbread is the manager.
So how did Kornbread actually like brought you into this? Like, or was it sort of your story sort of coincided with?
So I happened to meet the House of Jeté before we were the House of Jeté all at the same night. It's Calypso's the mother, Kyra's the oldest, Kornbread, then there's me. Me and Kyra were doing a competition one night and me and her made it to the finals. I had beat Kyra. So we were doing the final two and I was running to the back to change into my full like gown for the last moment. And I hear Kornbread call me from Hershii. And I go, who are you? She said, don't worry about that. Do you need help changing to your dress? And I said, no. She said, okay. She left me alone. Walked back out. I win I didn't win. I'm sorry. I lied. Well, I get runner up. I walk back out and the queen that won happened to tell me, oh, you're giving us a little Calypso Jeté tonight. And I'm like, who is that? So Calypso just happens to be right behind me. So I turn around, she taps my shoulder. I turn around, she goes, oh, honey, that's me. And then like wisp away into the club. Didn't see her for another 6 months after that. By that time, Kornbread had just started drag seriously, and I was with another drag house that shall remain nameless, and they were making me anyway look bad. Kornbread out of nowhere calls me up again, and she goes, Hershii, what you doing over there? And I'm like, they my friends on it. She said, yeah, friends is cute and all, but you need to be with a house that make you look good. You look too good for all of this. You need to be a Jeté. I said, I mean, if Calypso likes me, sure. She said, okay, 1 minute. A week later, she hung up. A week later, Calypso says, oh, okay, you're in the House of Jeté now. And that's literally how the house was formed.
Easy as that.
Yeah.
So besides protecting your ankles at all costs, what was Kornbread's advice for you on Drag Race?
Protecting my ankles at all costs.
That was the advice.
No, she told me to go in there and just have a good time. It's literally like a very long but stressful vacation. A long show. Have a very good time for as long as you can.
Given some of the things you said in that prior answer, I'm not sure how this next question is going to go. Because before this interview, I did consult a reliable source close to you for questions that might give us a better idea about your past.
I'm scared.
This reliable source said to please ask about the House of Melanin as it relates to your drag history.
Next question.
I'm also told that you have a few drag kids. So she's a mother. Like, was it Betty Jane, Serena, Romy, and Classy?
Yes.
But the source...
I'm scared.
The source, who I know you already know is Kornbread,
yes.
Wants to know, and I quote, and I have no idea what this means, what about currency?
So, do you want the story about currency?
Kornbread said it would lead to a good answer, so yes.
So here's what happened with currency. I didn't want to be a drag mother, but currency begged me. She said, please, can you be my drag mama? And I said, girl, I don't know. She said, no, give me the advice. You perform like I want to perform. You look like I want to look. Be my mama. I said yes. Okay. No more than a week and a half, and I remember to this day, a week and a half later, she went on stage without any lashes. I messaged her and said, Currency, don't do that again, baby. That's not gonna work. That baby cussed me clean out. Like, let me have it.
Oh no.
Over lashes.
Oh God.
I said, oh. Oh, you stupid this, you dumb that, and that's what the other girls are doing. I don't know what other girls she was talking about, but that's what the other girls are doing. And in the 80s came up for some reason. In the 80s, they weren't wearing lashes. I don't know how true that is. I wasn't there, but apparently in the 80s, they weren't wearing lashes.
Well, Simone didn't wear lashes to the season 13 finale by mistake, just so you know.
But it was a mistake.
It was a mistake. Yes, it was a mistake.
I left her a nice message. I said, you know what, this has been fun, but you're officially, you don't have to worry about being a LiqCour no more. Clearly this is too much for you and me. So we don't got to do this.
Great. Thank you, Kornbread, for that question. That was a very entertaining story.
I hate her.
Well, in addition to drag kids, though, I think looking through your TikTok, it appears that you and your partner also have children, correct?
Yes.
I loved that.
A baby boy and a girl.
I loved that. It was so nice to see you interacting with them. It seems like you have a very nice family dynamic going on with them. So what has that been like being a drag performer with children in today's climate? Because I know, I saw you responding to a few comments on TikTok where people were like questioning a drag artist's ability to be a parent.
I've become more accustomed to how people address me now when it comes to being a parent. It was very hard starting out because we do nightlife. I'm mostly a night queen. And my kids wake up early. Without fail, 6:30 every morning. They up, bye-bye. Cheerios. So that was hard adjusting to it, but that didn't harm me mentally as much as how mean people can get online. And what are you teaching your son? Why does he need to see you like that? Why are you sure that you're capable of doing this? And on top of me judging myself and critiquing myself very hard, because I'm a drag queen, but on top of me critiquing myself and being concerned about what am I teaching my children? Not just with doing drag, but being a parent in general. How are they learning from me? What can I teach them as a parent? When we have to talk to them about being adopted, what is that conversation gonna be like? It's already a lot. So having to get online, being that I'm online really heavy already, it got really difficult having to read those comments every time. You're gonna mess your kids up. That's not gonna be good for them. I don't even know how to explain my work to them all the time. And they know it's work. They'll check me. My son will say, you Baba going to work? You going to work? And I'll be like, yeah. He'll be like, okay. And then he's done with it. But in my mind, I'm like, ooh, okay, should he see me in makeup? What does that mean for him? And it gets to be a lot. It gets to be a lot. I've learned, they taught me that the only people that have questions are the adults that are confused, because the kids never had a problem with it.
It's all taught. It's all learned. It's all this weird pushback to this stuff. It's all taught by other adults who are made uncomfortable by it for whatever reason in their upbringing. And I encourage everybody to go and look at this family dynamic and see the love that you clearly have for these kids, because it's very adorable. There's a lot of really adorable videos on your social media.
I remember the first time my daughter looked at me and I was like, okay, this is right. She was looking behind, peering behind the mirror, I said, oh, she thinks I'm beautiful.
Yeah. No, it's great. It really is great. I've been asking a few questions to everybody on this cast, and I'll ask you next, because I've been getting some interesting answers about the twists and the turns that are coming this season. That's the answer right there. So what can you tease about what we're going to see coming up on season 16 and how it steps it up from past seasons?
I feel like the way they shook us to the left and then shook us back to the right and then dropped us. Everybody's looking for what is Drag Race gonna do new? How are we gonna switch it up? I feel like that's the main comment over the past 16 seasons. What is new? What new is gonna happen? The new twists are gonna make y'all go, oh, okay, fine.
Okay, all right, that's a good teaser.
Yeah.
So also, if you had a dose of the Mistress Isabel Brooks drag delusion vaccine in your hand, who among this cast, who are you giving it to?
The Mistress Isabel delusion.
Drag delusion vaccine, yes.
I think I'd give it to Plain Jane and Nymphia.
Everybody has said Plain Jane.
Plain Jane in particular.
Oh, why? Why?
Listen, that girl is, that's probably,
That's an answer in itself. Great. Well, Hershii, really, it was really, really a fun interview. Thank you so much for being here. I really can't wait to see what you do on the season. I think it's going to be great. Everybody stay tuned for more with the cast of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 16.